What if I told you that there's a country where you can witness the northern lights dancing above frozen waterfalls, where villages look like they've been plucked straight from a fairy tale, and where you can literally walk on top of clouds? I've spent the last 3 years exploring every corner of Norway, from the dramatic fjords of the west to the midnight sun of the Arctic North, and I'm about to reveal the 15 most jaw-dropping places that will make you question everything you thought you knew about natural beauty. But here's the thing. There's one place on this list that's so incredible, so otherworldly, that even seasoned travelers break down in tears when they first see it. I'll reveal which one it is, but you'll have to stick around until the end because trust me, you won't see this coming. Hey travel adventurers! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I explore the world's most incredible destinations so you can travel like a local, not a tourist. Before we dive into today's ultimate travel guide, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I post new travel guides every Tuesday and Thursday, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. And if you find this video helpful, which I know you will, smash that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm share this with more travel enthusiasts like yourself. We're growing an amazing community of curious travelers, and I don't want people like you to miss any of our adventures too. Now, let's dive in. I'm about to take you on a journey through Norway that will literally redefine what you consider beautiful. Over the next 20 minutes, we're going to explore places where reality seems to bend the rules, where waterfalls freeze mid-air creating crystal cathedrals, where entire cities glow under the ethereal dance of the aurora borealis, and where ancient Viking legends come alive in landscapes so dramatic they look computer-generated. Now, I know what you're thinking, another top 15 list. But here's why this one's different. Each location I'm sharing comes with insider secrets that took me years to discover, hidden viewpoints that aren't in any guidebook, and most importantly, the exact best times to visit for the most spectacular experiences. Again, smash that like button if you're ready to add Norway to your bucket list, and subscribe because we're building a community of adventurers who refuse to settle for ordinary travel experiences. Number 15. Tromsø, the Northern Lights capital. Let's start our countdown in Tromsø, often called the Northern Lights capital of the world. But here's what most tourists don't know, the best Northern Lights viewing isn't actually in the city center. I discovered a secret spot just 20 minutes outside town where the light pollution disappears and the aurora literally dances overhead. I'll never forget my first night there. It was minus 25 degrees Celsius, and I was about to give up when suddenly the entire sky exploded in green fire. The lights were so intense they were casting shadows on the snow. That's when I realized, this wasn't just tourism, this was witnessing one of nature's greatest performances. Pro tip. Visit between October and March, but avoid the full moon if you want the most dramatic contrast. Number 14. Røros, the medieval mining town. Picture this. Cobblestone streets lined with colorful wooden houses, each one telling a story that spans over 400 years. Røros is like stepping into a living museum, but here's the secret most visitors miss. Climb up to the slag heaps at sunset. The view over this UNESCO World Heritage Site is absolutely magical. The town was built around copper mining, and you can still feel the weight of history in every weathered wooden beam. What struck me most was how perfectly preserved everything is. It's like the town was frozen in time, waiting for travelers like us to discover its secrets. Number 13. Jotunheimen National Park, the home of the giants. The name literally means, home of the giants, and when you're standing beneath these towering peaks, you understand why. This is where Norway's highest mountains pierce the sky, including the mighty Galdhøpiggen at 2,469 meters. But here's what made this place special for me, it's not just about the mountains. It's about the silence. Pure, absolute silence that you can actually feel in your chest. I spent 3 days hiking here, and by the third day, I could hear my own heartbeat echoing off the valley walls. The hiking here ranges from gentle valley walks to serious mountaineering, but every trail rewards you with views that will fundamentally change how you see the world. Number 12. The midnight sun in Nordkapp. Imagine experiencing a sunset that lasts for months. Welcome to Nordkapp, the northernmost point of continental Europe, where during summer, the sun never sets. I timed my visit for the summer solstice, and watching the sun circle the horizon for 24 hours straight was one of the most surreal experiences of my life. Standing on these 307-meter-high cliffs at the edge of the world, watching the midnight sun paint the Arctic Ocean in shades of gold and orange, it's a moment that rewrites your understanding of time itself. The visitor center here is fascinating too, but honestly, nothing prepares you for that first moment when you step outside and realize the sun is shining at midnight. Number 11. Flåm and the Flåm Railway. Now we're getting into serious bucket list territory. The Flåm Railway isn't just a train ride, it's a 20-kilometer journey through some of the steepest terrain in the world, dropping 863 meters through hairpin turns and tunnels carved straight through the mountains. But here's the insider tip. Don't just take the train down. Hike part of the route. I discovered a trail that parallels the railway, and the views you get hiking are completely different from the train windows. You can hear the waterfalls before you see them, and when you finally round that corner and see Kajasfossen waterfall thundering 93 meters into the valley below, it's pure magic. The little village of Flåm itself sits at the end of the world's most beautiful train ride, nestled between towering mountains and the deep blue waters of Ålandsfjord. Number 10. The Senja Island, Norway's best-kept secret. If I could only visit one place in Norway, it might be Senja Island. This place combines everything that makes Norway spectacular: dramatic peaks that rise straight from the ocean, fishing villages that look like they're painted postcards, and beaches that rival anything in the Caribbean, except they're surrounded by snow-capped mountains. The drive around Senja is called the Senja National Tourist Route, and every single turn reveals a new postcard view. But the real magic happens when you abandon the car and hike up to Segla Mountain. The view from the top, looking down at the fishing village of Fjordgard with the ocean stretching endlessly toward the horizon. It's the kind of view that makes you question why you ever considered other destinations. Number 9. Henningsvær, the Lofoten Venice. Speaking of the Lofoten Islands, let me tell you about Henningsvær, often called the Venice of Lofoten. This fishing village is built on several small islands connected by bridges, creating one of the most photogenic settlements in all of Norway. What makes this place special isn't just its beauty, it's the way traditional fishing culture has been preserved. You can still watch fishermen hauling in their catch just like their grandfathers did, and the sight of thousands of cod hanging on wooden racks to dry creates patterns against the sky that are absolutely hypnotic. But climb up Henningsvær mountain if you really want your mind blown. The 360-degree view of the Lofoten archipelago from up there is so stunning that most people just stand there in silence for the first 10 minutes. If you're loving these incredible places, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because we post new travel content every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Number 8. Ålesund, the Art Nouveau jewel. After a devastating fire in 1904, Ålesund was rebuilt entirely in the Art Nouveau style, creating what is arguably Norway's most beautiful city. But the real magic happens when you climb the 418 steps to Oxla viewpoint. From up there, you can see the entire city spread out below you like a masterpiece, with its distinctive architecture surrounded by fjords and mountains. I visited during the blue hour, and watching the city lights reflect in the water while the surrounding peaks glowed in the fading light, it was like being inside a living painting. The city is also your gateway to some of Norway's most spectacular fjords, including Geiranger Fjord, which brings us to number 7. Geiranger Fjord, the UNESCO masterpiece. Geiranger Fjord is probably Norway's most famous fjord, and for good reason. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is 15 kilometers of pure drama, waterfalls cascading down from impossible heights, mountains that seem to touch the clouds, and water so deep and blue it looks artificial. The most famous viewpoint is Dalsnibba, where you're standing 1,500 meters above sea level looking down into the fjord. But here's a secret: take the early morning bus to beat the crowds. I was there at sunrise, and watching the first light hit the waterfalls while mist rose from the fjord below, it was like witnessing the world being created. The Seven Sisters waterfall is the star attraction, but honestly, every kilometer of this fjord offers views that belong in a fantasy movie. Number 6. Preikestolen, the Pulpit Rock. Now we're entering the top tier of Norwegian destinations. Preikestolen, or Pulpit Rock, is a flat-topped cliff that rises 604 meters above Lysefjord. The hike to get there is challenging but absolutely worth every step. Standing on that perfectly flat rock platform, looking down at the fjord far below with nothing but air between you and the water, it's simultaneously terrifying and exhilarating. What surprised me most was how many people propose marriage up there. I witnessed 3 proposals during my visit, and honestly, if you're going to pop the question, this might be the most spectacular place on earth to do it. The hike takes about 4 hours round trip, but those final moments when you emerge from the forest and see that iconic rock formation for the first time, pure magic. Number 5, Norway Fjord, the narrowest fjord. At just 250 meters at its narrowest point, Norway Fjord creates an intimacy that's completely different from its bigger siblings. The mountains rise so steeply from the water that you feel like you're traveling through a cathedral made of stone and water. I took the ferry from Flåm to Gudvingen, and the journey felt like floating through a dream. The waterfalls here don't just fall. They dance down the rock faces in ribbons of white against the dark stone. And because the fjord is so narrow, you can actually hear your voice echo off the mountains when you call out. This fjord is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and spending time here, you understand why the Vikings considered these places sacred. Number 4, Atle Anter Havsveien, the Atlantic Road. The Atlantic Road is engineering poetry, a series of bridges connecting small islands along the northwest coast. But calling it just a road is like calling the Northern Lights just lights. This is an 8.3-kilometer stretch where the boundary between land and sea dissolves into pure adventure. Driving across these bridges, especially during a storm, is like riding a roller coaster over the ocean. The waves crash over the road, the bridges seem to leap from island to island, and the whole experience feels like you're driving across the surface of the ocean itself. I timed my visit during a winter storm, and watching 10-meter waves crash against the bridges while I was safely inside my car was both terrifying and absolutely exhilarating. #3 Trolltunga, the Troll's Tongue. Here's where things get serious. Trolltunga is a piece of rock jutting out 700 meters above Lake Ringadalsvatnet, creating what might be the world's most dramatic selfie spot. But getting there is an adventure that will test everything you've got. The hike is 28 kilometers round trip and takes 10-12 hours. I started at 4 a.m. to catch the sunrise from the rock, and let me tell you, when you're standing on that narrow piece of stone with nothing but air below you, watching the sun rise over the Norwegian wilderness, you understand why people travel from around the world for this moment. The sense of accomplishment when you finally reach Trolltunga is incredible, but it's the view that will stay with you forever. Looking out over an endless expanse of mountains and lakes, you feel like you're standing at the edge of the world. #2 The Lofoten Islands, Arctic Paradise. The Lofoten Islands are what happens when nature decides to show off. These peaks rise straight from the Arctic Ocean like the spines of sleeping dragons, creating a landscape so dramatic it seems almost fictional. What makes Lofoten special isn't just one thing, it's everything. The fishing villages tucked into impossible harbors, the midnight sun painting the peaks in golden light, the northern lights reflecting in perfectly still lagoons, beaches with sand so white it looks tropical except for the snow-capped peaks surrounding them. I spent 2 weeks island hopping through Lofoten, and every single day brought new discoveries. Hiking to Kvalvika Beach and camping under the midnight sun, watching the northern lights dance over rain, climbing Reinbringen for the view over the entire archipelago. Each experience was more incredible than the last. Before I reveal number 1, I need you to do something for me. If this video is inspiring your next adventure, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to see these places. And definitely subscribe because we're building a community of travelers who refuse to accept ordinary when extraordinary is out there waiting. Number 1 The Northern Lights over the Aurora Borealis Station. Here it is, the number 1 most beautiful place in Norway, and this might surprise you because it's not a specific location. It's an experience that can happen anywhere in northern Norway, but when it happens, it transforms wherever you are into the most beautiful place on earth. I'm talking about witnessing the northern lights in their full glory, not just a faint green glow, but a full-scale aurora storm where the entire sky becomes a canvas of dancing light. I experienced this near Alta, at what's called the Aurora Borealis Station. Picture this. You're standing in the middle of a snow-covered wilderness. The temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, and suddenly the sky explodes. Not just green, but purple, blue, pink, and white ribbons of light dancing across the entire dome of the sky. The lights are so bright they're casting shadows, so active they seem alive, so beautiful that you literally cannot process what you're seeing. I watched a group of hardened travelers, people who had been everywhere and seen everything, break down in tears as the lights reached their crescendo. That's when I realized this wasn't just the most beautiful place in Norway, this was one of the most beautiful experiences available to humans on this planet. The Aurora Borealis station offers glass igloos where you can lie in bed and watch the lights dance overhead, but honestly, you'll want to be outside for the full experience. The silence of the Arctic night broken only by the crackling of the lights above, it's a moment that changes you. These 15 places represent just a fraction of Norway's incredible beauty, but they're the ones that will give you experiences you'll be talking about for the rest of your life. From the dramatic fjords to the dancing northern lights, from medieval mining towns to Arctic adventures, Norway offers a kind of beauty that exists nowhere else on Earth. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these places are you adding to your bucket list? Drop a comment below and let me know which destination spoke to you the most. And if you've been to any of these places, share your experience. I love hearing travel stories from fellow adventurers. If this video has inspired your next adventure, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe for more incredible travel content, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest discoveries. We're constantly exploring new destinations and uncovering hidden gems that you won't find anywhere else. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and remember, the most beautiful places in the world are waiting for you to discover them.